In a rare and nearly unanimous statement, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops rebuked the Trump administration's mass deportation campaign. The statement did not mention President Trump by name, but went on to say the bishops pray for an end to dehumanizing rhetoric and violence, whether directed at immigrants or at law enforcement. A White House spokesperson said that Trump was elected based on many promises he made to the American people, including his promise to deport criminal illegal aliens. Joining us now, staff writer for The Atlantic, Caitlin Dickerson. Caitlin, really good to have you. So you've written about who exactly is getting deported, and the administration keeps saying it's the worst of the worst, it's the criminals. But give me the numbers. Who are these folks, and I guess, how do you figure out what exactly is going on with them once they get taken?
Yeah, Katie, it's really not the case that the worst of the worst are being deported, which is why I wanted to write this story. The fact is that Trump's deportation campaign is moving right now faster than the public can keep up with. There's a lot of attention to clashes playing out in the streets, arrests as they happen, but then the rest of the process really takes place outside of public view. And so I think it's been hard for the public to wrap its mind around the fact that more than 500,000 people have been deported from the United States under this president. And the administration has promised to keep those numbers rising through the end of the year. As you said, Trump was elected, and as a Trump spokeswoman said, on this promise to deport people who had serious criminal records from the United States. In reality, 70% of people in ICE custody right now have no criminal record at all whatsoever. And then in that remaining 30%, there's a significant number of people whose only criminal infraction is illegal border crossing itself or some other minor issue, something related to traffic, theft. And often these cases are 10, 20, 30 years old. There's a man in my story who is being processed for deportation because of a 30-year-old misdemeanor conviction. And I really wanted to help people understand that these cases that trouble the public, and that's according to polling the public doesn't support, cases of people with U.S. citizen children or who've lived in the United States for a long period of time, they're not cases that the public supports, but they are the norm right now.
So these folks that are being rounded up, they're people who, as you said, have been living here for 16 years, and they've made an effort to stay under the radar. What exactly does that mean?
So the average undocumented immigrant in the United States has been in the United States for 16 years, a very long time. There are 6 million children in the United States who have an undocumented parent, and we know who these folks are, right? So it's a very diffuse population, not just concentrated in a couple of big cities. There are undocumented immigrants living in virtually every American community, and they dominate industries that we've talked about before. They work in restaurants, they work in construction, they work in agriculture, really permeating society. And, for those who've been here for 16 years or longer, they've waded through a lot of periods of time when Congress debated different policies that would have allowed them to legalize. Because again, this is a population that the public in general believes should be able to, according to polling, stay in the United States, follow a legal process if they don't have a serious criminal record, but that's never actually happened. And so as time goes on, people become further embedded in their communities. They own homes, they've developed longstanding relationships with employers, they've got friends at work and who they're used to running to into the grocery store. They're really embedded into our population and our society, but because they don't have legal status, it's a population of people who know that their safety and security is incumbent upon not broadcasting their story publicly. And so that's another reason why it's just been impossible for the public to keep up with the deportation campaign underway, because it's targeting people who have made a point to stay below the radar and who've told their spouses and their children, that the public can't find out often about their legal status or it would put them at risk. And so I think that's one of the reasons why this process is moving so quickly and why we're really missing most of it.
All right. That's really good context and a good point about who exactly is being taken. The administration keeps saying the worst of the worst, but the numbers do not show that by and large. Caitlin Dickerson, always good to have you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Katie.